Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Um, just going to give a little bit of time to see how many people come in the room or come into the live before I start discussing the topic of the coffee chat. I might start doing this in addition to my other lives. I used to listen to this. My grandfather, he used to play this radio station every Saturday morning, and the name of it was Coffee Chat. And he would tune in. I think it was like on one of those AM stations. No, I don't know what type of music you can find on the AM stations now. Um, you rarely hear talk of an AM station, but my grandfather used to listen to a segment that was called Coffee Chat, and it was basically, in all actuality, it was a podcast. Yeah, it really was a podcast. Now we're talking about back in the early 80s, like 82, 83. Um, my grandfather would listen in, and you know, they would allow people to call in. You could call in, and you would actually be on the radio at the same time that the broadcast was going on. And yeah, it was a pretty neat little thing they had going. But it just it's the memory of it has just stuck in my head. Um, and they would do things like, uh, so it was it was like a it was like a podcast, but it was also a almost like a Facebook marketplace type thing, because the locals would tune in, and sometimes people would have things for sale. They would mention it on the broadcast. Good morning, brother. Thank you. Yes, Jesus loves you too. Thank you. I know that. Um, all right. Yeah, so coffee chat. So I decided to call this little section my coffee chat in homage to my grandfather. And what would a coffee chat be without coffee? Yo, I like that. Some people feel the rain. Most people just get wet. Yo, that's deep. That's deep. I like that. I might have to borrow that one. All right. So, topic of the day, the coffee chat of the day, or the coffee chat topic of the day is, where's my note? Yes, I am a God. That's the subject. I've said that numerous times online, and people always come into the chat and they always want to say, "Oh, you're not God, and you're not this, and you're not that." And I even try to back up my claim with scripture from the Bible. Um, but people still they they have a hard time just hearing those words come out of another person's mouth, um, nevertheless their own mouth. But what I would like to explain to people is when I say I am a God, not only do I say that I am a God, but you are a God as well. Notice I didn't say I am the God, the Almighty, the all above all. Big difference. You know, Jesus said to the Pharisees, when he was questioned about proclaiming to be God, Jesus told them, "Is it not written in your law that ye are gods also?" So this morning during my meditation, um, I was making some affirmations. I like speaking affirmations as a way of programming, mental programming. Anyway, one of those affirmations was, I am a creator. Now, the statement, I am a creator, is almost exactly the same as me making the statement that I am a God. Uh, Most of us who believe in God would agree that God is the Almighty Creator. So for me to claim to be a creator, that would be the same as me saying that, I am a God. So it's just like putting things into perspective. You know, some things aren't necessarily right or wrong. It's the perspective that it's viewed from. Let me read some of these comments. Yes, we are all gods created in his image. I agree. Well, I mean, okay, so that was basically the topic. I don't want people to get so hung up on the fact that I like to refer to myself as a god. Um, why would somebody have a problem with me referring to myself as a god? But, that same power is available to you. You just have to claim it. You have to proclaim it. You know, words have power. The Bible says that the tongue is a tiny member of the body. But just like the rudder of a ship, the rudder of a ship is small, it's tiny. The rudder of a ship steers the course of that whole ship. Big giant ship, tiny little rudder is going to steer that ship in the direction. That's the same way that the tongue is. The tongue is like the rudder of a ship. So choose your words carefully. Speak life. Don't speak death. The Bible also says that um, the tongue is, I think it said, a fiery member. It can set the course of nature on fire. Yes, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Um, and you know, Christ, the word Christ is a state, it's a mind state. Christ consciousness. It's that Christ consciousness that we're able to do all things. That's my perspective, anyway. And Jesus Christ was was bringing that awareness to us. But you know, I think that kind of covers all my notes that I have for this morning. So, what do y'all think? Yeah, because I had did a short video where I had stated, I am a God and you are too, even if you don't realize it yet. Oh man, my comment section. Just they tried to crucify me in the comment section, but it's all good. All right, so hey, hunting CT state land. You still in here? Bruh, you just hit the nail on the head with that one. Um, hunting CT state land stated, when the Anunnaki return, we should be able to explore our full potential. Bruh, you might be on to something right there. You might be on to something. That's gonna I'll save that topic for another date because I would really ruffle a lot of feathers um once I start talking about the Anunnaki and creation and how that relates to us as a human species. But yeah, we are all gods created in the image of the Almighty. We have the power to create. We are creators. The same way that God, or the same way that it was explained in the Bible that God created, we have that power, that ability. Um, we have that power in our word, the words we speak. We can speak life or death. So I encourage everybody to speak life. Um, Words are real. And see what the powers that be would like to do, and this is what they really focus on. First of all, they focus on trying to hide that truth from us. They do not want us to know the power that we possess, the power that's in our words. They rather us use our words to to further imprison us and to subdue us. Yeah, but another thing that the powers that be that try to do that they not try to do, but they are actively doing is they're it's like a mass grab of attention. They want everybody's attention. Not only do they want your attention, but they want to hold your attention and they want to control your attention. Things that they use to control, grab and control your attention um, are things like the media, things we watch on TV, things we listen to on the radio, um, you know, sports games, uh, the latest gossip going on with, you know, this rapper, that rapper, you know, this police did this to this person, and this person said this to that, and this Republican did this to this Democrat. You know, they're they're vying for our attention so that they can control it. And it's like we become pawns in their game. And they set us up one against the other, creating division, you know, black against white, Republican against Democrat, homosexual against God damn, can't even think of the fucking uh straight, homosexual against straight. They just trying to put all kind of division. They have us worried about things that really don't matter. They really don't, but we make it a life or death situation when it comes down to it. They don't, the powers that be don't want us to know that um, love, love is the answer. Forget all the division, um, and respect what another person believes in. You know, there's 8 billion people on this planet. 8 billion. Now, how ignorant and arrogant would it be for me to claim that out of the 8 billion people in this world, I'm the one that's right? I'm the one that has it figured out. I know how life goes. I know exactly who or what God is. I know da 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 da. How arrogant foolish would it be to think that out of the 8 billion people in the world, I'm right? Well, that's how most people think. They disregard the fact that 10 years ago or 20 years ago, they probably believed something different. And as life happened and as they learned more, their beliefs changed. They don't have the foresight to realize that in the next 10 or 20 years, they may come into more revelation. They may learn new things that may change or add to their perspective of how life works. And I'll also say this: few things in life, very few things in life are absolute truths. Um, I've heard it said before, I think it's in the Kabbalion. Yes, it's in the Kabbalion. All truths are but half truths, and all truths can be reconciled. Now, to put that into perspective, all truths are but half truths. Basically, it's saying that all truths are half truths. It's not a full truth. So that's what I mean when I say few things in life are absolute truths. Um, Now, my example for that would be, let's take hot and cold. Okay, hot and cold is not an absolute. Hot and cold is basically the same thing. Hot and cold is not an absolute. If you look on a temperature scale, look on a thermometer or whatever type of temperature scale you have, tell me where hot starts on that scale, that thermometer. Where does hot start and where does cold start? Is 100 degrees hot? Is 32 degrees cold? No, they're the same thing. It depends on your perspective. Your perspective is going to determine what's hot or cold. Because if you were on the surface of the sun, 100 degrees would be cold to you. Perspective. Now, if you were in Antarctica, 100 degrees would be hot to you. Um, so many different analogies I could use uh, with that, you know, that same example. You know, you can do hot and cold like that. You can do right and wrong like that. Right and wrong is, for the most part, they're the same thing. It depends on the perspective. Good and bad. Good and bad depends on perspective. They're like two sides, two different sides of the same coin. And I just reading the comments here. I'm gonna bring one comment I wanna comment on. Winterman asks me, do I believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ and judgment day? First of all, what does it matter what I believe? I mean, nobody believes exactly the same as someone else. Remember, we're 8 billion individuals. 8 billion individuals. There is not one person on the earth that believes 100% exactly the way that another person believes. Um, Depending on what perspective I answered your question from, I could actually answer that question yes and no, depending on the perspective. Because one thing, Mr. Winterman, I've read a lot of books, and that's not to, that's not to brag. That's not to try to place myself on any type of pedestal or anything. It's like a person saying they've traveled the world. When you've traveled the world, you get an experience from different perspectives, different ways of life, how people live life in different countries and different areas. And you learn, if you've always lived in a bubble in your town, where you were born, and never got out, in no further than 100-mile radius from where you grew up. And you know a lot of people have lived like that. I call it a bubble, and they fail to realize that on the other side of the earth there's people, um, who are not like us. They are, but they aren't. um, they've lived life differently for thousands of years. They've lived life differently. That's reality. We just so happen to be where we are at. But we have to open our minds and realize that we're not in a bubble. Just take yourself out of the bubble for a second and put yourself, like, think outside the box. Think outside the bubble. So, to answer your question, Winterman, do I believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ and Judgment Day? Yes and no. Take that however you want to take it. But yes, I do believe it. And at the same time, I don't believe it's going to happen the way that most people think it's going to happen, or the way that most people say it's going to happen. That's what I mean when I say yes and no. And I'm pretty sure if you ask other Christians that same question, their explanation on how it's going to happen or how they think it's going to happen is going to vary. It almost certainly. So, it's like a trick by the powers that be to instantly instill some type of division. Oh, okay, well, he doesn't believe the way I believe, so gotta stay away from him. I can't listen. I can't listen to the words that come out of his mouth. If he doesn't believe in that, then yeah, I ain't got nothing to learn from him. They forget about the fact that you can learn from a fool. You can learn from a homeless person. You can learn from a drunk. You can learn from a drug addict. It's like they throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, we must have more discernment in the information that we come into contact with. The information that's coming in to our head and going through our mental filter. You don't have to throw everything out just because you don't believe in what a person believes in. Um, yep. See, some could argue that the second coming of Jesus Christ has already started to take place. Remember when I said that um, Christ was a state of mind, Christ consciousness? Well, that second coming has already started. That Christ consciousness or the realization of your divinity has already started. Now, how about that perspective? What if the rapture already happened? Think about that. You know, human life expectancy, give or take 10 years, 75, 80, whatever. That's a freaking drop in the bucket. Not even a drop, a half drop. Not even a half drop. A molecule of water in the sea of time. Our 80 years on Earth is a molecule of water in the sea of time. So, yeah, we very well could have missed it. You know, 2,000 years is a molecule amount of time in the sea of time. Perspective, you know, we've been on this earth a long time. Mm. But I thank y'all for joining me today. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. Um, Mr. Winterman, thank you for your comments. And hold on. Okay, yeah. Thank you for your comments. And Mr. Hunting CT State Land. Yeah, you deep, man. Yes, sir. I appreciate it, Winterman. Definitely different perspectives. You know, when I was a 20-year old, 20 early 20-year old person, I was in that young and dumb stage. You feel like you're Superman, you're, healthy, strong, vibrant, just experiencing life, but had, a mentality like, okay, I got life, I know life, let's do this. But 10 years later, when I was 30, I look back on my mind state at 20 and I was like, man, I thought I knew some shit. But then when I got to 30, I was like, I didn't really know nothing back then. And now, I kind of know a little bit, but yeah. So fast forward another 10 years to when I was 40, and I look back at 20 and I was like, yeah, I definitely was young and dumb then. I ain't know shit. And, you know, and I look back at 30 and I was like, I knew some things, but, I hadn't experienced enough of life to properly put things together. So, but now at 40, I've got a pretty good grasp of things, but there's still some things that I'm not sure about. Um, New revelations are always surfacing. So now at 47, which I am now, I've realized that the next 10 years, like when I'm 57 or even when I'm 67, life experiences and new knowledge may shape and form and further develop my belief. I just have to stay open to that. I can't honestly sit here and tell myself that exactly the way that I believe right now. I can't say 10, 20 years from now, I will believe exactly the same. Actually, that would show a lack of growth, and that's not normal. Growth is life. But yeah, the older I get and the more I learn, the more I realize. I don't know shit. Just plain and simple. Just plain and simple. Don't know shit. The little bit of knowledge that I've acquired in 47 years, when compared to the amount of knowledge that's out there, it don't even register. It's a molecule. It's a molecule of knowledge. I have a half a molecule of knowledge compared to all the knowledge out there. I like to keep things in to perspective. It's kind of like wearing the other person's shoe. Wear the other person's shoe. But I hope everybody's doing good this Sunday. Here we go, Mr. Winterman. It's Sunday the Sabbath. Oh, you can't see my eyebrow. Is Sunday the Sabbath? That's a question for you. If you're still here, answer that for me, please, sir. I know maybe I didn't answer your question the way that you wanted, but I answered it. But I got that one question for you. Is Sunday the Sabbath day? Then I got a couple follow-up questions depending on how you answer that. I'm just curious, and I could probably ask 1,000 believers that same question and get 1,500 different replies. All right, so um, yeah, I'm getting ready to get my work day started. Tell you guys what I'm working on. Um, First of all, I've been. Oh, here we go. Day is not at all matter. Sunday or Saturday or any other day, whether we are worshiping God, that matter. Okay, and I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with your perspective on the Sabbath. Me personally, I don't think it matters. It's just like it's like another way to create some type of division. If you make it an issue on whether or not Sunday is the Sabbath day or not, that's just a form of division to get people or to keep people divided. As long as you can keep people divided, they're not going to work together. The powers that be, whoever it is, I don't know, but whoever it is, uh, they like stuff like that. But yeah, I agree with you, Winter Man. But you know as well as I do, there are some Christians that, they will answer that question a lot differently. And I bring that up just to kind of prove my point on um kind of my whole topic that I've been talking about today. Perspective. Whether or not you believe that Sunday is the Sabbath day is a matter of perspective. Is it right or wrong? It depends on the perspective. Remember, I said right and wrong a lot of times is the same thing. It just depends on the perspective. It's like hot and cold. Hot and cold is the same thing. It just depends on perspective. Where are you at? Are you standing on the surface of the sun or are you standing on the Antarctic? Perspective. But the important thing, I think, that we should all realize is love. This whole universe is love. Life is love. Love is a word that's hard to sounding out love or trying to explain love from a human perspective is very, very hard. I agree with him, man. But, if there's any consolation in, well, not really consolation, but just to clarify, uh, yes, of course, I believe in Jesus. Um, my, I believe in Jesus, that character that has been explained to me um, may be different from other people's views. It's like some people like to see God as uh, a fierce and uh, you know strict force entity, you know, just full of judgment and wanting to, fight the enemy, fight Satan, and da 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 da. We skip all around the part that God is love. And what if I said that I'll ruffle a feather or two? What if I said that love and hate were the same thing? Ruffle a little feather. Huh? Might be, might be. One thing about facts, let's look at it from a debater's point, or let's look at it from a debater's point of view. You know, like in college when you got these debate teams, you know, you got a team of individuals, you got two teams, they are presented with a topic, and then those two teams have to, first of all, they're told which side they need to take. And regardless of how the person believes or thinks, that debate group can argue the same topic from either side of the fence. They could be pro whatever or they could be con whatever. But debate is the ability to use words and information to influence, to kind of fabricate a perspective. It's kind of like what the Klan, the KKK did with the Bible. They took the Bible and they kind of used the Bible to prove things that they believed in. Same Bible that you read, King James Version, pretty sure. Yeah, yep. Group discussions. Yes, sir. Yeah, well, you know what? I enjoyed this. My first coffee chat in remembrance of my grandfather, Sam Bootsy Johnson. Samuel Bootsy Johnson. Samuel Irvin Johnson, but his nickname was Bootsy, and I named my dog Bootsy in remembrance of my grandfather too. My grandfather, look, he was the last of a dying breed. You know, my upbringing, oh, terrible. One day I'll, make a video about it. But my grand my grandfather and my grandmother instilled in me what true family life um, was, from their perspective. Uh, that was really the only experience I had um, in normal family life. And, I wasn't raised by my grandparents. I just spent time with them during the summer, a couple of years uh, when my parents couldn't keep me. They would send me to Virginia to stay with my grandparents. And, you know, I bounced around a lot when I was a kid, but um, the time I spent with my grandparents, was very beneficial. I'm thankful. so much. I mean, my grandfather, he taught me how to hunt. He taught me how to be a man, like I look at the young generation today, the young men today, and the art of being a man is a dying thing. Like literally, people like literally don't know. Young men that should be men are not acting like men, and I'm talking about like something as simple as taking out the trash. Man, if I ever see my girl taking out the trash, I'm kicking my own self in the ass type shit. You know, I just feel there are certain things that men are built for and designed for, and they should take charge of, and vice versa. Same thing for women. Call it misogynistic, call it, whatever. It is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Shit. But all right. I appreciate y'all joining in. Thank you for the discussion. I think I will most of the time when I do lives, just because I be not really serious about them. Uh, I don't make them public, but I think I'm going to make this one public. Pretty good discussion going on. But before I let y'all go, I want to tell y'all about some of the things I'm creating. I'm a creator. I am a co-creator. I am creating my reality. My reality now. I've created it. I've created it through the choices I've made. I've created it by choosing to do certain things, choosing to involve myself with certain people, choosing to learn certain things. I am actively creating my reality. Not only am I actively creating my reality, but my view of my reality is based off of my perception. With the 8 billion people in the world, think of that as 8 billion universes. I am my own universe. From the center of me, which is the center of my universe, expanding out infinitely. That's my universe. I am the God of my universe. It is my job in my universe to keep the planets going in orbit. I want harmony in my universe. At one time, my universe was chaotic. It was almost like the birth or the formation of a universe, like when a star explodes and, rock and material is scattered across the universe, and then you've got one rock that just kind of coalesces into a sphere and it's spinning and it's collecting, you know, Yeah, that was the early part of my life. That was the beginning of um um a harmonious universe being developed. So now in my stage of life, um, I've got planets in orbit now. And just like the sun rises every day at a specific time, the planets revolve around the sun on their specific times. Everything's in order. I'm working on keeping things in my universe in order. I'm being the god of my universe. And an important part of being the god of my universe, an important part of being the god of my universe is setting up the right laws of physics that govern my universe. Those laws of physics that govern my universe are my habits. My habits are the laws of my universe. You know, it's like gravity. But yeah, you know what? You said why men are not real men now? The powers that be, the powers that be. And as much as I would like to think it's not a planned and orchestrated agenda, mm, I just think it is. I just think it is. But kind of digress from uh, what I was trying to say earlier. Oh yeah, check the you'll see I got in the back, that's a picture of the Last Supper. That's the black Jesus in the Last Supper. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, I'm working on a few things. I'm creating some stuff. I am building my universe. I've got a couple of YouTube channels I'm building, some faceless channels, some not faceless. Um, I've got my dog kennel, um, my dog kennel stuff. I design and build dog kennels. So I keep a notebook for every project. Um, artificial intelligence, think, build, sell. My other YouTube channel where I talk about things that I build. Um, the AI Scoop, my newest website and social media network that focuses on um, AI awareness and training. This is just an idea journal. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, and then we can't forget the Nomadic GodKing. This is my notebook for this channel. I get ideas, I write them in my book. Writing is the first step in a manifestation process. Imagine thought comes to your head. A thought is immaterial, no substance. Like a musician, you can take that thought and manifest it into physical a physical item just by writing it down. That is the first step of an idea becoming a physical, tangible creation. You must write it down. It's a process. There's a process to manifesting things. Listen, 5 years ago, if you look in my if you look in my videos, 5 years ago, I was getting fed up in my relationship. I walked out. I was homeless, sleeping in my car, sleeping in storage units, sleeping at God knows whose house. I had a lot of women because I needed somewhere to stay. I'd bounce around. I mean, shit, I was a rolling stone. Wherever I laid my hat, that was my home. Yes, sir. So I encourage everybody, be a God. Be a God of your universe. Be a God of your universe. Be a creator. Manifest. Do what God told us to do. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, Winterman. I do appreciate the conversation. I hope you subscribed. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Hey, let me know if you've got some other things you want to talk about. Hear my perspective or whatever. We can do another coffee chat live session. But I think that's about it for now. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, man. You have a blessed day. Everybody have a blessed day, okay? Later.